Good morning. I'm Clinton Griffiths. Drought now consumes nearly 60% of the lower 48, the most since 2012. And concerns are growing that a short winter wheat crop will only add to the scarcity of wheat on a global scale. As we've reported, the snowpack in the Sierra Nevada is disappearing following the driest January to February on record. Now, with a third year of drought looking likely, the wheat belt is worried they too will see little to no moisture yet this year. Take a look at the latest U.S. drought monitor released Thursday morning. It shows 59% of the continental U.S. now covered in moderate drought or more. That's 2 points higher than last week. And if you go back a decade ago, the summer of 2012, nearly 64% of the country was in drought, a record high. Tyne Morgan joins us now from our Kansas City studios. And Tyne, even Kansas City is showing up on the latest drought monitor.
Yeah, that's right, Clinton. I mean, as you can see today, the areas surrounding Kansas City are abnormally dry, but not D1 yet. But in talking with local farmers here, there are areas that typically hold water now standing dry. And I've talked to farmers really from Texas up to South Dakota that say drought is more of a concern this year than it was a year ago. Just weeks before spring planting, drought now covers nearly 60% of the continental U.S.
That's the highest we've seen since we were coming off the peak of the 2012 drought a decade ago.
USDA meteorologist Brad Rippey says while he has growing concerns for the state of drought today, he says his biggest trepidation sets with one major crop.
By far, the wheat belt is the biggest concern. If you look at crop conditions in areas where the crop's starting to actively grow, it's absolutely terrible.
Wheat conditions all across the plains showing the scars from little to no moisture. And some farmers say wheat on dryland acres have yet to even sprout.
You're into Texas, you've got 3/4 of the winter wheat crop rated in very poor to poor condition. Almost that much of the rangeland and pasture land, 69%, currently rated very poor to poor. And soil moisture in Kansas, Oklahoma, and Texas, at least 75% very short to short at the end of February. And so we are into showtime in the South, and Texas wheat is already heading out in the far South. Statewide, I think about 1/8 of the crop is reporting heading. And so it is time for growth. Plants are demanding moisture there. And despite a couple of winter storms recently, a little bit of ice and snow in Texas, it is still critically dry. And without any big change in the pattern, that will quickly spread northward into Kansas, Nebraska, and eventually the western Dakotas and Montana here over the next few weeks, unless something changes dramatically.
Well, Clinton, this is the latest spring drought outlook. And as you can see, it really doesn't paint much hope for those areas that Rippey just referenced either. It shows drought persisting or even intensifying through the end of May. As Rippey says, La Nina is lending no favors to areas seeing the stubbornness of drought.